on is if one of the players can actually win an unfavored matchup, then suddenly the whole series change. You know, that is so much of an advantage, which I think is the main story of Conquest, is if you can get that unfavored win, your whole lineup suddenly looks so much better and you're much more likely to win the series. But we are going to get into Game 3. No more waiting around. It's going to be Sintolol versus Bunnyhoppor, and Sintolol's, he got my message.
Yeah, he got the Pirate
Warrior. He's gone straight for this Pirate Warrior versus Bunnyhoppor's Face Hunter. So this should not be the longest game of Hearthstone in history.
It should be quite quick. Typically speaking, Pirate Warrior in the past has been the most favored deck against Hunter. But Hunter has always been the mid-range variant. It hasn't been his Face variant. His Face variant has been kind of cutting edge and new as far as Hunter prospects go. So it'll be interesting to see how it lines up here. I don't have too many stats or familiarities with this kind of matchup.
It's not a matchup we've really cast or witnessed too often, at least.
So it'll be pretty cool. I have to imagine that the weapons will actually allow you to kind of pull ahead on the board. And as long as you're able to navigate the secrets kind of effectively, I think the Warrior has to have a slight edge just because it's a face deck versus a face deck, and the Warrior has better weapons for gaining tempo with Fiery War Axe and whatnot, and then also just has higher quality minions going forward, because typically speaking, the deck versus face deck pans out is both decks really want to go face, but they end up having to trade with their early minions with each other so that neither can kind of start snowballing going face, and then the deck that's just slightly slower usually pans out ahead because they have more value going forward. And we can see already, you know, Sintolol having Kor'kron elites and whatnot, whereas the Face Hunter deck kind of stops its curve at 3 basically with the Huntress, and then just has Leroy at the top end chilling.
Yeah, there's not enough instant effect in the Face Hunter deck versus the Warrior. And also, one of the frustrations you can have in this matchup as the Hunter is it's kind of awkward to get Cat Trick procced because there's just not that many spells that Warrior can play. And also, even if they have a turn where they, you know, we can see upgrade in hand, right? But they can just happily just not upgrade if there's a secret live and just not even give the cat in their hat to the opponent and then just force it through sheer minion pressure. So I think Warrior is favored-ish in this matchup. And choosing not to go for the Hunter hero power from the Finley there, going for the Druid.
Yeah, you definitely want to board control hero power in this matchup. It's you're scrappy, scrappy, scrappy. You're trading minion on minion combat all day, in this matchup. So I really like the choice of either going for Druid or Rogue, but I'm interested that he goes with Druid instead of with Rogue. With the upgrade in hand, he could have had a potentially really strong turn just going Dagger, Coin, Upgrade if there's no secret to buff this Secret Keeper.
Yeah, I think the idea is sort of there's the choice for the instant payout of going for the Rogue with the upgrade versus the long term of Druid just being better for everything, because there's so many weapons
if you draw
in the deck.
weapons,
exactly, and you always do want to upgrade the actual weapon that you've got versus just a Rogue weapon. So not looking too bad. Kindly Grandmother again. It's just
there we go, and he top decks the weapon. He's rewarded for his decision of going with the Druid hero power. So I think most likely we're going to see the N'Zoth's First Mate plus the upgrade come in to kill the Secret Keeper before it can get buffed by any of those, you know, 7 secrets in the deck, and then Finley not trading with the Grandmother because you don't want to deal with that 3-2 right now. Nobody's got time for that. So just swing to the face.
Yeah, and the benefit is when the Grandmother does trade in, well, he's already got the weapon to just kill off the 3-2 anyways. He said it's going to be more board-centric and about keeping the board clear of the minions. And now this is looking pretty rough for Bunnyhoppor. He has sort of reactive quick shots if he needs them to take down some of the minions. Maybe not quite yet, of course, because there's not too much pressure on the board, but with double Kor'kron and Frothing Berserker, they're all minions that Bunnyhoppor will have to deal with, because that is a lot of damage, and now Mortal Strike as well. So Sintolol in a position to just get very aggressive when he needs to.
Yeah, I mean, he can even play defensively here with the Mortal Strike if he wants to as well. You know, just removing the minion with the Mortal Strike in his weapon and keeping Finley. He can go for a Frothing buff to be able to contest. He most likely suspects that his opponent does not have many secrets in their hand since they didn't play any, and they all cost 0 right now for them.
Yeah, and also even this Frothing doesn't directly kill off the Huntress on the trade, but Hunter struggles to deal 1 damage, and Warrior really doesn't when he's just got Finley already on the board. His weapon deals 2, but who cares? You know, that's fine.
It's good enough
to be able to clear it up, and he can just Kor'kron if he really needs to. But yeah, this is looking really good for Sinter. Just actually put himself in a really strong position that Bunnyhoppor's kind of awkwardly got to try and deal with, and nothing looks great. And when you hit the point of leaving a Frothing Berserker on the board, it's a very, very scary moment indeed.
Definitely very scary. So We see Bunnyhoppor debating here whether or not he wants to trade into the Finley. He develops that Argent Squire, so he is going to have a minion out there to be able to finish off the Frothing Berserker for the next turn when he chooses to, you know, trade in one of these Cloaked Huntresses into it. So he's able to, you know, establish an ability to get that 1 damage in, which is really important, but I think I like... This is a really tough call where to go with that Huntress. I don't know if killing the Finley is all that relevant. I may have liked to say go face there, but who can really tell? It's a really difficult decision because it is all about the board control. You do want to be protecting your Argent Squire from potentially dying, because if that Argent Squire does die, suddenly you're going to have to trade both Cloaked Huntresses into the Frothing or something like that, and that will not feel good, or trade one in and quick shot it, and you don't want to have to do that. Yeah,
just too many resources involved there to be able to just do that extra damage to the Frothing Berserker. But Frothing Berserker is a threat on its own now, and with the Dread Corsair, Sintolol could potentially try and just guard this Frothing Berserker anyway. Getting the 3/3 taunt on the board is going to be pretty huge, as again, there's just the damage just isn't there into the Frothing, and this is starting to, you know, get a little bit scary where Bunnyhoppor might just have to double quick shot this turn just to be able to slow the board down, but he's going to continue to fall behind because, you know, there's double Corcoran and Mortal Strike still available. We just see the value of that N'Zoth's First Mate weapon, the hook, with an upgrade is just so much durability to just be able to keep attacking turn after turn after turn.
And yeah, Bunnyhoppor here has the ability to, you know, empty his hand and get some value off these quick shots, like you said, with the double quick shots, since he was able to pick up a trap. And I think it's really important to be able to keep your minions around, so I like protecting that Huntress as much as possible. I think you just drop the freezing trap in there, play a quick shot on both of the minions, and trade your Argent Squire into the Frothing to finish it off, and hopefully find another trap off the draw.
Yeah, I like it because you could think about trying to freeze the Frothing Berserker, but the second a charge comes down, you're in major trouble, and it's not going to be unheard of for the charge to get down by now. You know, there's been plenty of turns to draw into them, and also Bunnyhoppor knows that Sintolol's been holding on to a couple of cards as well, so the odds on a charge happening is far too risky. Does get the draw, and like I said, we'll be looking for a secret of some kind just to get the most value out of this turn.
Yeah, the most likely cards in a Pirate Warrior's hand when he's holding on to cards are either Arcanite Reaper, which we can kind of assume that it's most likely not, since Sintolol did have the coin, and you may have seen him just coin Arcanite Reaper face a little bit earlier, or something like Mortal Strikes or Leroy Jenkins. So that's got to be on Bunnyhoppor's mind. Typically speaking, like Corcoran Elite isn't a card that gets stuck in your hand sitting around for a while, but just kind of interesting situation that happened to be the case this game. But dealing with the traps is not easy to do. There are 7 of them. It could be an array of things from, you know, snakes to freezing, explosive, cat tricks. So it's very difficult to deal with every single trap. And
Sintolol's like, yeah, that Corcoran got bounced. This is a problem. And now he's probably got a pretty decent idea that it is going to be cat trick. Ooh. And the problem is, because he's going to presume it is cat trick at this point, because I think the odds on him proccing most of them, except maybe snakes.
It's either cats or snakes at this point, yeah. So it's between those 2 traps for the options for it, and a cat trick probably isn't too much of a big deal.
You think? I think on this health total, just an additional 4 damage out of nowhere.
You're never going to proc the cat trick until your opponent's just dead.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if you proc it early, then you're going to die.
Yeah.
So it's something that you really have to think about. He's just going to go face himself. He does have Mortal Strike and Heroic Strike available, and that stacks up to quite a lot of damage, especially if Bunnyhoppor continues to push Sintolol's health down. Yeah, like this has just turned into just, okay, who can smoke the quickest?
Well, you're definitely going to be killing this Corcoran Elite. He's actually dead if he doesn't remove this Corcoran Elite. He will be dead to the upgrade Heroic Strike, Coin, Mortal Strike play if he just chooses to ignore the Corcoran Elite. So he has to remove it here, and I don't think you're getting any more value out of this Hunter's Mark than that. And preserving your health total is very important as the Hunter, because that means you're going to be able to squeeze in more Hunter hero powers, which means more damage in the long run. And it does set up lethal for the next turn. Sets up 11 damage, and your opponent can only armor for 1 because they have their Druid hero power. And it's pretty much impossible for your opponent to deal 15 damage right now. They're at least very unlikely. They need like double Heroic Strike. Nope, that doesn't even do it. Yeah, it's very, very hard for them to deal that amount of damage, if not impossible. So really like the play by Bunnyhoppor there, identifying that he can still set up lethal while clearing the minion.
Yep, so now Sintolol has to make the really tough decision of does he have to just Mortal Strike down the Huntress?
Well, he can't. Cat in the Hat. And
Oh, yeah.
that'll be that.
Ah, good rhyme, I like it.
It could be snakes, though. So
It could be
It
snakes,
could be
but
snakes, so
that's very risky. If it's not snakes, you lose.
Well,
or at least you put yourself in a position that it's very likely that you're going to lose.
So what kills him in this spot? We know Leroy kills him, and that's what's in the hand. But it could be literally anything in the hand. If it's the bow, he's still alive. If it's kill command, he's still alive. Both quick shots have been used. So literally the only card that kills him if he ignores the minion is Leroy. So I think it's very likely that he's just going to try and set up his own lethal here, play around Cat in the Hat, and
yeah, just taking the highest chance here, actually, just not, you know, his highest win rate chance, basically, because, as you said, there is only Leroy available. But we can see that Bunnyhoppor does have it. Sintolol blatantly not happy.
Yeah.
Kind of glad the mics are muted.
Yeah,
but we can't
kind
see
of cursing there a little bit. Huh?
Maybe just a splash, but